Hey guys, if you haven't already, give the video a like, subscribe to my channel. This is a what if series and I'll be doing more down the road. Plus Ultra!
Hey guys, and welcome to What If Deku was the reincarnation of Beerus the Destroyer? Now, this could be a take on to being a very OP what if, or depending on how I take it, it's probably already that way. Anyway, so yeah, what if Deku was the reincarnation of Beerus the Destroyer? Let's get into the story. So Deku is on his way to the doctor with Inko and Hasashi, his father, only to notice that he doesn't have a quirk. Now everything plays out with Deku's father going somewhere or disappearing. They don't really say where his father went or anything. But Inko basically raises Deku, but she notices that on Deku's eighth birthday that he had like grown some strange abilities, like this purple like aura would radiate around him, or Deku, since Deku been born, he's been doing some abnormal stuff throughout his childhood. I'm not gonna say it was happening when he was at 8 years old. See, Deku would be faster than the average human, faster, like wait, 1,000 times, like 1,000 times faster. But let's not say it's that level yet because he hasn't trained. Like, let's say he's 10 times faster than a normal human, 10 times stronger than the average man, and can do some really pretty impressive things. Like Deku could pretty much float. He can't fly yet, but he can float. And Deku, when he gets angered, or say for example, he puts on this like cocky attitude. Not much as like Bakugo, but like Beerus. Like, say for example, if he knows you're weak, he would yawn and turn his back on you and say, "I have no time to fight peasants like you." Anyway, let's get into the story. Let's get back into on track. So everything plays out just like that with Deku's. His mother basically keep taking him back and forth from the court doctor to say, "Are you sure he doesn't have a quirk? Are you sure he doesn't have a quirk?" Only for Deku to show the doctor something, and Deku creates this ball-like sphere in his hand and say, "I don't. You keep saying I don't quite have a quirk, but how do you explain something like this?" And they say, "How are you doing that?" And this amount of energy right here, I feel like could be very destructive. It can destroy a big city if I wanted to, or a small city if I wanted to. Depends. Possibly even I can destroy this planet if I wanted to. And this is not this Deku just like subconsciously thought, like thinking, he, like, you know how Deku talks out loud. Deku was just talking out loud, saying, "I can destroy the whole planet if I wanted to." Oh, did I say that out loud? And they say, "Kid, what kind of power do you have?" And they would say, "I don't know, but I've been getting these weird dreams of this angelic man. He keeps saying that he's gonna come train me very soon. I don't know how soon that is, but he said he's gonna come train me." But so we now fast forward to the point when they're all in class. Now, this is the part where Deku's 15 years old and everything. Everything plays out as normal, but Deku is pretty much athletic in this one. Like, Deku's body is like naturally fit, let's per se. It's naturally fit, very athletic body style. Now, as far as Deku's just in his notebook, he's right because he's still the same way. He still likes heroes. He still admires heroes and wants to become a hero someday. So Deku, he starts writing in his notebook and he starts writing out all the heroes and stuff like that, just minding his own business. When the teacher says he was crumpling up the paper and threw the paper up in the air, and everyone got excited because he knows that they want to go to UA High School and take the entrance exam. And Bakugo basically stands up and says, "Don't lump me with any, like, in with any of these losers. Heck, they might make it as a sidekick or something." And this is what Deku just pays no mind and says, "That goes for the person who's standing up acting like a buffoon. You'd be the first one that's a sidekick, Bakugo, as your anger and temperament is not even cut to be a hero. I gotta say, you most likely would make it as a villain." Deku would say this, and this would piss Bakugo off. I'm talking about Bakugo would look at Deku with eyes of anger. And Deku would say, "Did I hit a nerve?" Class would be over, and Bakugo and his goons would walk back there to Deku's desk as he's getting ready to pack up. Bakugo would grab Deku's book, and he would say, "So what are you flipping through and everything? And what are you writing about, you damn nerd?" And Deku would just look at Bakugo and he'd say, Bakugo, can you give me back my book, please? I will only ask you once. Bakugo does the same asshole thing that he did in the original canon, which he dispersed the book in like a burst of flames. This pissed Deku off heavily. So Deku walked up to Bakugo, grabbed his wrist, and started squeezing it hard to the point that Bakugo squinched in pain, and he pumped his chest, sending Bakugo flying into the wall of the chalkboard where the teacher, when the teacher wasn't there yet, but sending Bakugo flying through the wall of the chalkboard. Now this is when Bakugo sees this like purplish aura radiating over Deku's body, and Deku right now is like furious. He's angry. His fists are clenching right now, and Deku right now is finna rush at Bakugo. All of a sudden, someone teleports in front of Deku and says, "Stop! If you go any further, you might end up hurting or blowing up this entire school, young one." This is when Deku, with his fists being caught by this guy he doesn't know, Deku goes to say, "Who are you and what do you want?" This guy just ruined my book. "Oh, this one?" And the guy just picks it up and makes it brand new. Thank you, but I don't understand. Who are you?" "Well, my name is Whis. I'm going to be your trainer. You can look at me as your sort of instructor and a servant too." "A servant? So you're my instructor, my trainer, and a servant to me." Wow, that's a lot to take. That's a lot to take in. And this is where Deku would just have his eyes pop out, like blow out his mind, like, "Where did you even come from? How did you even get here? Who are you?" And he would say, "Well, I'm an angel. I'm Whis. And you, my friend, are what is known as the god of destruction." And what he says, "You are a god of destruction. You were merely chosen or basically reincarnated as someone I used to serve but isn't around anymore due to particular reasons. That doesn't need to be explained, but I'm going to train you and help you gain the power that he had, possibly even better power than he had." And this would be like, "Oh, so you're going to help me control this uncontrollable power that I have inside of me. Basically, you can explain what's happening to me." So you're saying, so you say. And Whis would nod his head, say, "Yes, I can." So now we see that Bakugo gets back up and he's down. He's scuffled. That attack that Deku did was basically to render him immobile, but Bakugo somehow got back up like the monster and freak he is. He charges back at Deku, and Deku dodges Bakugo with ease. Now, Bakugo sees this and can't stop himself and ends up running into the next wall. And basically, Deku just looks at Whis and says, "Can we get out of here?" He's not going to stop. That's just how he is. He's going to keep on going until he tires himself out. And Whis would say, "Is he a childhood friend of yours?" "Sadly, yes." Anyway, so they would continue walking to Midoriya's house. Well, Whis would teleport them there. And Midoriya would say, "So no sludge villain incident, anything like that." So yeah, no sludge villain incident in this one. And sadly, no, he didn't meet All Might in this one because he didn't need to. Anyway, so yeah, he's gonna meet All Might down the road as we continue on to the throughout the series. But as far as him meeting him now, yeah, that's not gonna happen. So Deku would get ready to train for the UA entrance exam, and he told Whis could he help him with that. He needs 10 months, and 10 months is all he needs to prepare Deku to be as strong, well, possibly even stronger. So in this run, Deku tells his mom that he's going to be gone for 10 months and not to worry. She says, okay, and she understands. So Deku goes off to train with Whis. No need to go back in detail with that. When Deku gets to his planet, he knows that Whis was here by himself, but then he tells Deku that this is his home. Whose home? And Whis says, "It's yours, my lord." So Deku would be looking around saying, "My home?" He would look around and say, "So this is my own planet. I potentially live here." "Yeah, you and your mother can live here." "No, I think my mother is more of an Earth person. She can, because she's not gonna be willing to like pack up her life and just travel across like the universe." "Anyway, can we get to training, Whis?" And he would say, "Right away, my lord." So Whis would begin training Deku for with a whole 10 months, and Deku would not be on his ass. He would actually be trying to prove a point as to trying to control his power, trying to, well, learn different abilities that Beerus has, such as the Spear of Destruction, the Balls of Destruction, whatever the circular spheres of destruction that he used against Goku when he went Super Saiyan God. He was learning a bunch of things. See, Deku was first mistake, I mean not mistake. His first task in the first month was to learn God Ki and to master God Ki. He was doing that for the first 2 months, mastering God Ki, controlling God Ki, and then now for the rest of the months, Deku would be trying to master something else. Now Deku got a grasp of his Kakaishin mode, how to use his godly powers. He even got a grasp of the Hakai, how to wipe someone out of existence. He knows that his power is of the God of Destruction is to basically destroy planets. And yes, the Kaioshins are a real life thing. But should I include the Kaioshins? You guys let me know in the comments below. Should I include the Kaioshins in this one, or should I not include the Kaioshins? I'm gonna leave it up to you guys to decide in the poll or in the comments, whichever one I choose. Now, when the next few months, Deku was trying to perfect the technique that Whis had taught him and said is very difficult. But Whis is surprised. Deku is actually ecstatic. Like Whis is ecstatic. Like he's come so far in the last 10 months. Deku has got the basics down. Well, not the basics. He's got the full thing down of Ultra Instinct Omen. Yes, as a God of Destruction, Beerus knew it in the manga version, so I'm gonna give it to him here. And I'm just gonna say it's the incomplete version, as to not the mastered version yet, because Deku still has. He looks regular. He's not like a full-on reincarnation of Beerus, like the green skinned cat. No, it's just regular old Deku. Just looks normal. Anyway, so as far as the 10 months are going, Deku spends the last month with his mother, going back home, chilling with her, and hanging out with his mom and stuff like that. And now we got the entrance exam commencing. Now, Whis is going to watch Deku throughout his fruition in this world of becoming a hero, and he just wants to sit back for some entertainment, as this particular God of Destruction has a lot of activity in him, and he's very, very entertaining. When the last one, all he did was sleep. Whis might actually have some fun with this God of Destruction. So as they get ready to walk, Deku's just walking very casually, and in the midst, he accidentally bumps into this girl, and this girl is Juro. He instantly says, "Oh, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. It's been so long since I seen you. The last time we hung out is when Bakugo and his goons were bullying you." And she would say, "Oh, Deku, I she didn't know. She wouldn't know what to say, because she would be ecstatic, and she would have her cheeks would be red, and she would be looking at Deku. And Deku is extremely fit. Like Deku, I would say, is not like you imagine him looking like the Deku after the 10-month training arc. No, he's way bigger than that. I'm not gonna say like he's a Mirio big, but he's in between his size that he had at the end of his training arc in the original canon and Mirio, so somewhat in between there. So Juro and Deku would be instantly catching up with each other, and they would be going to the entrance exam to sit down and listen to the presentation. Now, through this, Deku would be bugging Juro, saying that he's gonna ace this and that they should hang out sometime. And this is when Tenya Ida would stand up and tell Deku, "Listen, can you be quiet? You're interrupting people." And Deku would look at Tenya Ida, and this is when Tenya would have a huge chill go down his spine. Like he feels so much fear that if he doesn't sit down and look forward, he's going to be erased. He does that and instantly takes off his glasses and wipes the sweat off his head. And Deku, he glances back at Deku, and Deku's just having his feet propped up with his hands behind his head, looking at Tenya, just smiling. Now, the UA entrance exam gets commenced. Deku's out there. He's tapping his feet against the ground with the president. I'm not going to pretty much quote President Mike, as you know what happened in the original with the 0-pointer, the 2-pointer, the 3-pointer, and the 1-pointer. You already know about that, so let's just fast forward. Now we're at the battle part where Deku was stretching out, getting ready, and Juro, she's in another part of the section, but when the President Mike tells them to go, Deku charges off in a burst of pink light, going through robots, basically smashing through robots. Deku's teleporting all over the field, destroying robots, and it's very easy. Deku's doing this without even much of a sweat. Deku is racking up a lot of points, a huge amount of points, and he instantly does this key spears. He forms like 5 or 10, let's say he formed 10 like key spears behind him and throws them at a lot of robots. Now, Deku has racked up a good amount of robots with a whole bunch of people, such as, well, let's say all the teachers praising Deku of his skills and his agility or his attacks. This guy is proven to be something beyond a prodigy, or let's say beyond godly. Now, as everything is going normal, we now see that the 0 pointer robot is inching out of the ground. It is getting up, and someone screams, and Deku says, "That sounds like Jiro." Deku teleports to where he heard the scream from, and he says, "Jiro, are you alright?" And she says, "No, this rock." And Deku would instantly look at the rock and say, "Hakai." The rock would disintegrate into nothingness, basically wiping it out of existence. And then he would look at Jiro's leg, and he would cradle her up, and he would jump away from the 0 pointer robot, basically getting her to safety, then jumping back and looking at the robot, and the robot would basically be ready to punch Deku, throwing a huge fist at him, and Deku would catch the robot's fist and basically just say, "Hakai." And the robot would just fade away. Just like that, fade away. Now, he's not going to be spamming this move, as I'm going to create a limiter for it. Deku is now heavily drained. Now, Deku has been floated to the ground. He can only use this attack twice. Yes, he can only use this attack twice. Now, he's heavily drained, and if, like, let's say he can use it only once. He forced a second one. He forced a second one just for the fun of it. Now he can only just use one Hakai. Cause throughout the series, I know you guys are gonna be saying, "Oh, so anybody that comes to him, he's just gonna Hakai this, Hakai that, Hakai this, Hakai that." Let's just nerf that part right there and just say he can use the Hakai once, and if he forces one, he can use it twice, but it will heavily drain him. Anyway, so now that the entrance exam is over, Deku floats back to the ground and goes over to Jiro to check and see if she was okay, but she was healed by Recovery Girl. And Recovery Girl asks Deku if he needs some healing, and he says, "No, I don't. This was a breeze for me." Anyway, so everything would go per normal with Deku returning home, where basically walking Jiro home, and he would ask Jiro something like, "Hey, next time when we see each other, let's go and do something. I have a lot of things to show you, as I've been on an adventure for the last 10 months. And I guess you, most of all, will be very, very surprised to what I've seen and what I'm capable of." Anyway, so they will part ways, and Deku will go back home only to get a letter in the mail saying that he passed the entrance exam, and All Might telling him, "Welcome, Midoriya, to Izuku Midoriya, to Your Hero Academia." And that's where I'm going to end this one off, guys. Tell me how you like this one. Let me know in the comments below if you liked it or hated it, or what I can improve on. Tell me how you feel about this one. And also, if you want another part to it, all you got to do is just hit that like button. Hit that like button, show your love and support, and you will get a part 2 in the near future. And without any further ado, you guys have a good day, a good night, and plus ultra. Good night, guys.